we're likely to hear some arguments that the coal industry has used over the years to sway people against regulation designed to protect the environment. And so I'd like to introduce this article, which chronicles the coal industry's overreactions and some exaggerated claims over the last 40 years.
Okay,
so,
without objection, the article.
Thank you. I hope the committee members read this article as well. Thank you. Again, I'm going to begin my question in this hearing much the same way as I began when we held a similar hearing just over a month ago, by briefly discussing the economic costs of failing to act to combat climate change. For communities, for example, in my district in Oregon, the threat of climate change brings serious economic consequences. The coastal communities with the fishing and seafood industries, for example, rely on a healthy ocean to support their livelihood. The agriculture sectors need freedom from concerns about drought. Changes in our climate brought on by record-high carbon emissions causes economic concern. Many Fortune 500 companies are now building the economic realities of climate change into their long-term business plans. Insurance companies are starting to account for the increased frequency of severe weather events. These things are happening, and it's up to us as policymakers to act now to mitigate the damage. So, Dr. Holdren, first of all, thank you for your very thorough testimony. I do encourage members of the committee to read your entire written testimony, which is very thorough and detailed. We're here today to ostensibly discuss the science behind the EPA regulations. And because some people question whether the EPA is considering the economic impact of its regulations, can you please expand on the potential economic benefits of reducing greenhouse gas emissions through rules like the recently proposed rule limiting emissions from existing power plants?
Thank you. Happy to do that. There is some considerable discussion of that in my rather lengthy written statement. But the fact is that we are facing, under unabated continuation of global climate change, large increases in damages from a wide variety of extreme weather events, including in some regions floods, in other regions droughts, in many regions more extreme heat waves, in many regions more wildfires, pest outbreaks, pathogen spread in terms of geographic range. We're looking at impacts on many sectors of the economy, on the energy sector, the forestry sector, the agriculture sector, the fishery sector. We're looking at increases in ocean acidification that have the potential to dramatically change ocean food chains and fisheries possibilities. And we are looking, as already mentioned, at human health effects. And I would mention, although Dr. Bouchon has now left, that the models that are used in this domain are all based on data. They're based on patient data. They're based on epidemiological studies. And there is a wide range of models, not a single model. They have been funded by a wide range of sources. And the findings in the National Climate Assessment, which came out in May on the impacts of climate change on health, were thoroughly vetted by experts at the National Institutes of Health, the Center for Disease Control, and so on.
I do want to have time for one more quick question, but thank you for that clarification. On a related note, I want to follow up on something that was discussed in our July hearing. Dr. Cash from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection stated that EPA's latest action will, quote, help the nation develop an advanced energy infrastructure. So can you please both comment briefly on the importance of having the United States lead the way in the development and implementation of the next generation of energy policies, and talk about whether the existence of rules will foster innovation by creating demand for new technologies?
I'll take a start at it. This is another example of how regulations will spur innovation and development of new technologies. In particular, what we found when we looked at what the power sector and states were already doing to address carbon is that they were investing in renewable energy and moving that forward. They were investing in energy efficiency and moving that forward. And there's huge opportunities, in addition to other sorts of technologies, for this plan to spur even greater investment in those sorts of technologies and move them into all across the country and into the mainstream.
And I trust you would both agree with me that I would prefer that the United States be the leader in developing these technologies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would just add and emphasize that countries all around the world are buying renewable energy technologies, they're buying energy efficiency technologies, they're buying cleaner fossil fuel technologies. They're going to be buying a lot more of them because it is recognized all around the world that climate change is real and we need to do something about it. And we will be far better off if the United States is the principal provider of those technologies in the decades ahead than if we allow other countries to take the lead in that domain.
Thank you. And my time has expired. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Bonamici.